Hi, it's Rogue, and today I wanted to give my opinion about the gen kicking meta and how it affects me as someone who doesn't partake in the gen kicking meta. Um, I really don't enjoy kicking gens, and I mean, I will do if I have to, especially if I'm playing a killer where survivors tend to hide against, like Spirit or Nurse, with nowhere to hide. But I really don't like the stacking omega strong slowdowns that you have to do nothing to earn. So I just don't use them. I usually use one slowdown on strongest killers and a couple of slowdowns on Legion or Slinger, Give to Pain and Pain Rest, or Pain Rest and Jolt. These are usually my choices. I really like Oppression, but it's an S perk with a omega long cooldown, so I usually don't use it, even if the idea is pretty good in my opinion. So, what I've noticed recently is that survivors just want to do gens. And not like, oh yeah, they're really focusing on gens. They're not doing totems in Fear of Night, for example. No, no. No, they bring like 4 brand new parts with commodities toolboxes and just do the gens and leave. They don't want to have nothing to do with me. And of course, if I'm playing Nurse, I'm like, you're gonna have to deal with me, bro. But if I'm playing Legion or Normand, like it happened to me yesterday, I was chasing someone, one gen pops, and I'm like, okay. 2 gens pop, and I'm like, okay. When the third and the fourth gen popped in the span of like 2 minutes and a half, basically, maybe 3 minutes, maybe. And I had like 2 hooks. I was like, what the fuck? Are they cheating? But no, they were not. They literally had 4 brand new parts and commodities to boxes. And this is not the first instance of it. I have faced multiple survivors, multiple matches in which I lost just because the survivors did gens, and that was that. So I try to understand if I was getting gas at the game and applying pressure, which is usually my first thought, or what happened. Like, why would survivor do that? It's extremely boring. And honestly, I didn't have to look too far. I just watched my survivor matches. Basically, in a lot of my survivor matches, what happens is that the killer just applies the most boring playstyle ever possible, just hitting and running, kicking gens. Yeah, they will take the occasional down, of course, if it's really in front of their face. But they will just focus on kicking gens and getting people off them so that they can regress. Because of course they're kicking them with eruption, over brine, whatever the hell. And this is as for survivors, because if the killer manages to defend the 3 gen with these 3 perks, if they are like not dumb basses and it's just like, okay, this is my 3 gen, I'm just gonna defend this from the start, good luck. You will really need those 4 brand new parts and or whatever you brought with you. So I understand. I understand. Why wouldn't you bring this stuff when it's the only counter, prove thyself, and maybe potential energy and 2 boxes and brand new parts are the only counter to this incredibly boring playstyle where me as a survivor in a 4-man swift with all 4 people alive and circles of healing up and whatever, you just have to choose if you wanna end the match by the server timeout, 60 minutes, or just go next and gain more blood points and maybe have more fun next time. Now, we have managed to escape against this kind of killers, but again, we are 4 men with on comms. So, even with some tweaks needed, we can still call for leaving the gen for eruption, being like, okay, that gen was 80, please just go tap it, whatever. Or against killers that were not particularly good. But the point is that this meta makes it so it doesn't matter how good or not good you are as a killer. You could be, a normal M1 killer on Gideon and just exhaust all the resources, no matter how good and efficient the people that are looping you are, because you're stalling the game for so fucking long. Eruption, Overcharge, Colobrine together, maybe, with some inbuilt slowdown that the killer may have, is, I think, like 400% regression. Like, that's hell. No one wants to play that. So, honestly, I don't blame the survivors because they just don't expect to go against a killer that has Jolt, pain rest, DMS. I have got some killers that have pain rest DMS recently, but you just counter them. Like literally, you just counter them. You just call, I'm getting hooked. That's it. They have to be good to, just wrap up the match in their favor. They have to be good. But in case of the Gen kicking meta, they don't have to be good. Like, and if they are good, the match is just not gonna progress in any way, shape, or form. Like the survivors will literally do nothing and go home with 3 points. Top. I really hope this meta changes. I think that some things in this game needs to be earned. I think that should be like a proportional return for the effort that you are applying. Hooking, downing survivors, you know, doing things, winning chases should be heavily rewarded. Because winning a chase means that you are better than a survivor. Like, how you measure how someone is good at this game is not for how long they can hold them one on a generator or how many times they can kick a gen. It's how good they are in chase. And yes, you can randomly down a very good survivor just because, but most of the time, if you down a survivor, especially in a very short time, it's because you're better at chasing than they are at looping. It's because you're making smarter choices. You're winning your mind games, and that should be rewarded. But just kicking gens, just sitting on gens, no, the shit should not be rewarded. Look at these matches that I'm playing. These people, in the end, like they were not bringing incredibly oppressive gen builds. They were just doing gens. This map was fractured cowshed, so it took me a very long time, especially with the build I had, with only one slowdown, to actually catch up. And I also had pills. I wasn't playing super seriously. They were doing gens at a normal speed. The match had already begun when I started recording. This is a normal match. Like, yeah, I only have 3 hooks and 1 gen, but this is pretty normal for me on Legion. I usually, I think Legion, especially with this build, is gonna shine once the resources are consumed. But the resources are gonna get consumed because I'm chasing the survivors correctly, I'm doing smart decisions, I'm getting downs, and this is how I win the game in the end. But you shouldn't be rewarded this massively just for kicking gens. Like, this is nuts. This should just not happen. Because of course the survivors are gonna get frustrated at this. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? It's it's ass. Like, you are just doing the most boring thing in the game, holding M1 on a generator. Maybe while someone does the work of the gods, just looping the killer for 3 million years, and the killer kicks it, and that's it. Like, your 89 seconds work is done. You have to do it again. That's ass. That's ass. Anything that promotes the most boring part of the game being up is ass. Like, if someone likes that, they can go play Engineer Simulator, honestly. Like, this is probably not the game for them. Sorry. So, yeah. The janking meta is really frustrating me because it's making the game ass for Survivor, but it's also making the game ass for killers that don't want to partake in it. If you don't want to bring those perks and you get like an unfavorable map and you're not playing a very good killer, like an S or A tier killer, the survivors, they will probably be equipped just to gently leave. At least this is what's happening to me in EU servers. I've also noticed that recently the bonus has been like 100% of the time on killer. Like literally, if I will log in now, it's like 1 p.m. The bonus will be on killer. This I have never seen since I started playing ever, because I think people just don't want to partake in it. And as one of my friends said very smartly, um, if 10 people leave the game and the alpha is killer, you have one less whiff, but you also have 5 less killers. So the bonus is on killer. That's true. I just hope this meta changes very soon. I don't think changing eruption on its own is gonna be enough. I think there should be rewards for looping the killer for long, for um, because if you're looping the killer for long, it means that they are making a mistake, not going to chase someone else. Doesn't matter how good you are. Like, being good is not just a matter of chase, it's a matter of making smart decisions in the grand scheme of the game. And rewards, like more massive rewards for downing survivors and hooking survivors, maybe not for slugging, because I do understand that it's, a pressure tool, but it's also kind of ass for the survivors that have to endure it. And that the gen kicking meta is, a little bit tweaked, because kicking a gen and making it regress 400%, bro, that's nuts. That should just not happen. I mean, thanks for listening to my rant, and let's hope for the best with the next patch. Have a nice day.